What is the meaning of life? Today we're going to go over a couple things that I've culminated over the past couple of weeks. But first off, I want to talk to you about my feelings. You see, recently I've gone through some rough patches. Had to private a couple videos, had to betray one of my friends for someone that wouldn't do the same for me. And ultimately, I patched things up with my friend and I patched things up with my other friend, but it doesn't matter, does it? Because at the end of the day, this person won't change. And I understand that now. I guess I'm trying to play with fire and hopefully understand how hot it burns so that maybe I'll remember in the future. Is that maybe why I wanted to get so close to the fire once again? Over and over, trying to torture myself just to feel something? Self-destructive behavior is the reason why I'm making this video. What is the meaning of life? Because without meaning or purpose and a little bit of depression here and there, devoid of all meaning, you try to search it out, try to find it. And the closest thing is, well, I feel isolated, solitude. Not enough people in my life, not enough good quality people in my life, not enough people close to me where I can talk about this stuff. And I've always been, okay, well, maybe I need to find a connection. So I try to find a connection, and ultimately I overextend myself. I try too hard. I try desperately to cling on to the connection, and it ends up breaking. Now, I do this cycle over and over and over again ever since I was 15 years old. This can be romantic connections, this can be friendships, this can be with family. It's either all or nothing with me, either obsessed or apathetic completely. There is no in between, there is no balance that I have, and I've desperately tried to find that balance, but it's so difficult to do so. And I think my problem is that I've been so deprived of connection and meaning and purpose, and I long for it so much that every time I get a morsel of it, I overindulge. The greed sets in, the lust sets in. You know, all of the 7 deadly sins can be applied to me. It's overconsumption of one thing, or underconsumption, starvation, or overindulgence, greed, gluttony. That's really what it is that in order to find a balanced, perfect life, you have to seek it out. You have to change your nature. And ultimately, we all battle with this problem of trying to find balance, the yin and the yang. It's very difficult to find this balance. And there is no one perfect person out there for you, or one perfect person out there that has all the answers of how to maintain a perfect, balanced life. And every time you ask the question, what is the meaning of life? You get a different answer from a different person, or sometimes you get no answer at all, because no one has the answer. And that's the scariest reality of it. But that's the world we live in. We desperately try to seek meaning. I think the part of it is whether or not you believe in Adam and Eve, or God, or Christianity, or anything really. Sorry. Or you believe in biology and possibly evolution over the course of time, is that as we've gotten smarter as a species, and our collective knowledge of the world has grown exponentially, we find ourselves asking the deeper and deeper questions. Why? 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 The first question was, Why? Need to survive. Easy answer. Okay, now that we survive, how do we thrive? Well, we don't want to have to survive so harshly. It's not trying to find a boar every day. It's about preserving the meat and being able to eat the next day and the day after that. It's longer and longer food storage. It's how to survive for longer. Let's maybe boil our water first instead of just drinking it straight up and getting amoebas in our blood. It's building shelter so you don't freeze to death. It's building shelter so you don't get too hot throughout the day. It's building shelter so you don't get rained on all night while trying to sleep. We built comforts over the course of time. We built connections with others, communication styles, talking, speech, language. We got more efficient at building things, about building more than just hunter-gatherer. It was about building huts and fires that stood over the course of the night without intervention. Survival. We got better and better at it. Now, here we are today. We are so good at survival that simply going to a food pantry, getting some water, and taking shelter with a friend or an organization, do a couple chores, help out, and you have a roof. You scrape enough money together, you buy yourself a tent. You buy yourself some water bottles and you fill them up at the local library. Your hunter-gatherer is just go to Walmart. With $20 in your pocket, you've got a couple meals for a week. You do need money to survive in this world. It's hard to hunter or gatherer now. But to provide value to others has become very easy. Simply ask and people will provide. And hopefully you're more than that. Hopefully you can do more than just ask others. What value do you provide to society in order to obtain currency in order to survive? And what level of survival is that? Are you living in a tent in the forest somewhere and you've got some food supplies and some water and that's how you exist? Or do you have a crappy apartment and a half-decent job and you work paycheck to paycheck but you survive? Maybe a half-decent house. You rent out a couple rooms. You're good with your money. You have a decent job and you have a future career in your mind. And for that, you have better money. And all of that comes down to money and currency, the value you provide to others in society in order to better survive. That's really all we're trying to do, is survive. It's not just survival nowadays. It's not just living in a crappy apartment or some other place. It's about surrounding yourself with good people, good family, good friends, loved ones, family. It's about meaning in your life, protecting those which you can, saving those which you can. I think that's really the hardest part about all of it, is that we try so desperately to escape from monetary value, capitalism, but the reality is that money is how we survive nowadays. You take away money, what are you going to do? My parents have some banana trees, but guess where they bought them? With their money. We have chickens, but we bought them. We have a chicken coop to protect our chickens, but we bought that. Everything in this world that even you create has to be bought, because nothing can be created or destroyed, only changed. So you must exchange value for your value in this world. And that's what gets into conditional versus unconditional love, which is very difficult to get into. I think the reality of it is that we have to be so good in our lives. We have to have so much money, so much strength, so much purpose, so much value, so much ambition, so much joy, that comparing yourself with another person seems arbitrary. Like there is no possibility for comparison. You have to be so good where the conditionality of love is ignored. It's out of the question. This person is so good that you cannot isolate one thing to them at all. You can't isolate anything wrong or anything good. They are simply good. And that is what unconditional love is, I think. But anyways, let's get into the meaning of life. Philosophical, am I saying that right? Perspective. Many philosophers argue that the meaning of life is something we create for ourselves. Existentialists like Jean-Paul Sartre and Albert Camus believed life has no inherent meaning, and it's up to each person to give it purpose through their actions and choices. If you're thinking about the sources for this is all ChatGPT, so I know, criminal. But I just wanted a general overview to really talk to you about it. I think there's 50 things in here. These are just out of order too, so they're not in any order of importance or anything. But if you ever think about all this, I'm very sorry, because ignoring the meaning of life in your life is probably the best bet you can do. If you simply say, I'm here to have fun, and try not to hurt others in the process. Bring joy to yourself and bring joy to others. That's the only thing that matters, right? I don't know. Something like that. Religious and spiritual perspective. Most religions offer their own interpretations. Christianity often believes that life's purpose is to love God and others and to live in accordance with divine will. You read the Bible, you study the Bible, you live by the Bible. And ultimately, that is to love God, love yourself, and love others. Bring joy to yourself, bring joy to others. It's really all the same. And that's all we're trying to do here. Buddhism emphasizes overcoming suffering and achieving enlightenment. With life, there is always suffering. You have to endure suffering in your life. It's inevitable. Whether it's on others and your love to them is causing you to suffer when they're going through the worst times in their life, or the suffering that comes on to you and you're desperately clinging on to friends and family to hold you up during the most trying times. Achieving enlightenment is to go beyond that suffering and that pain and accepting it in your life and finding meaning in it, finding purpose, finding joy even in that suffering. Islam teaches that life is a test and its purpose is to worship Allah and live righteously. I would agree with that too. Our endless life is a test. If you were to be reborn, or you were to be, sent to heaven in your soul, even Christianity believes that life is a test. God is testing you. Which way do you go when you die? This way or that way? It all is arbitrary. Hopefully you do right. Hopefully you pick the right thing. This is why I really can't identify with one singular religion or find one singular purpose in life is because life is so much more complex than one finite ideal. I would say that now that I've experienced it, love for family, connection, relationships, friendships, and all of that is probably the one of the most meaningful things you can do in life. And to ignore that meaning and that love and that likeness for others is to ignore the very fabric of your reality. Right? That's why it's so destructive. Love, hate, happiness, sadness. It's the duality between those that gives our life meaning. Constantly striving for the other when we have one of these other ideals. If we're too happy, our lives are meaningless because there's no fun there. There's nothing. There's nothing of meaning. But if you suffer and then you have happiness, and you suffer and you have happiness, the back and forth of that provides meaning. Just don't suffer too much. From a biological standpoint, life's purpose is to survive and reproduce, essentially to pass on genes to the next generation. But many scientists also acknowledge that humans, with our consciousness and creativity, seek deeper meaning that is beyond mere survival. That is very true. Biologically, I would say that as we have evolved and adapted over the course of time, survival and reproduction is not the only thing that matters to us. More than passing on genes matters anymore. It's about passing on experience, life experience, knowledge, the pursuit of happiness, and whatever we have obtained from our meaning of life should be passed on to the next generation. Personal perspective. For many people, meaning comes from relationships and love, personal growth and learning, helping others, creating or building something lasting, experiencing joy, beauty, and wonder. Some even find meaning in the search for meaning itself, which is kind of a paradox, isn't it? That just searching for meaning is the meaning. Wow. There is no answer. There is no right or wrong answer to this question. It is simply the pursuit of it that matters. If you are not thinking about this question, why are you here? Honestly, you have no purpose. Philosophical depth. Philosophers have long debated whether life has intrinsic meaning or if meaning is something we construct. Existentialism by Sartre or Camus. Life is inherently meaningless, but we can create meaning through our choices and actions. Camus famously compared life to the myth of Sisyphus. Oh my gosh, these Greek words. Finding meaning even in repetitive struggle. If you don't know the story of Sisyphus, that's tough. He basically was tasked to roll a boulder up a mountain and then watch the boulder run down the hill every day. And he had to do it over and over and over again. It was punishment, but inevitably, maybe he found meaning in it? I don't know. Absurdism, the conflict between our desire for meaning and the silent universe. The answer, embrace the absurd and live fully anyway. Nihilism. Life has no objective meaning, purpose, or value. This can be bleak, but some find freedom in it. The freedom to define their own values. There's also another one here in philosophy. I would say that this all kind of culminates to what I believe. Existentialism, absurdism, nihilism. You can identify with one singular construct. You can only extract what you partially believe from each one. Religious and spiritual insights, these views often provide a framework for understanding life's purpose beyond the material world. In Christianity, life is a gift from God, and its purpose is to love, serve, and grow closer to Him. Hinduism, life is part of a cycle, samsara, birth, death, rebirth, with the goal of achieving moksha, liberation. Buddhism, life involves suffering, dukkha, and the path to meaning is through enlightenment, understanding the nature of reality and letting go of attachment. Islam, life is a test, and its meaning lies in submission to Allah and living a righteous life. If you're seeing a pattern here, it's because we have kind of figured out what our meaning is here. And that is, don't not think. You have to think in order to be human, honestly. To deny your thoughts, your feelings, your purpose to be happy and make others happy in this world is to deny your very humanity. And all the religions in this world and philosophers and biology itself come to this conclusion. Pursue joy. Pursue the joy of others. Don't live entirely hedonistic. And think a little bit. Think about your actions and your legacy. Because it's not just about joy or getting people to enjoy themselves. It's about, what does it all mean? Just asking the question is good enough. Scientific and evolutionary view, from a purely biological standpoint, life's purpose is to survive and reproduce, but many scientists think they can go further. Carl Sagan and Richard Dawkins spoke of awe and wonder in understanding the universe, suggesting that meaning can be found in exploration, knowledge, and connection. Consciousness allows humans to ask these questions, create art, build civilizations, and seek meaning beyond survival. Psychological and personal meaning. Psychologists like Viktor Frankl, author of Man's Search for Meaning, emphasize that meaning is essential to mental health and resilience. Frankl's logotherapy, meaning can be found through work or creative endeavors, love and relationships, suffering and how we respond to it. Many people find meaning in raising children, helping others, creating art or music, exploring the world, or building something lasting. Modern and cultural interpretations. In today's world, people often seek meaning through purpose-driven careers, social impact, mindfulness and presence, connection with nature, personal growth, and authenticity. Wow. Cultural and societal perspectives. Different cultures shape how people view life's purpose. Indigenous worldviews often emphasize harmony with nature, community, and ancestral wisdom. Eastern philosophies like Taoism suggest that meaning comes from living in accordance with Tao, the natural flow of the universe, embracing simplicity and balance. Western cultures emphasize individualism, achievement, and personal legacy. Artistic and creative expression. For many, meaning is found through creation and expression. Art, music, writing, and storytelling allow people to explore emotions, identity, and the human experience. Artists often say that creating helps them make sense of life or even transcend it. Cosmic and metaphysical views. Some thinkers and mystics look at life from a cosmic or metaphysical angle. Panpsychism Panpsychism suggests that consciousness is a fundamental aspect of the universe. Simulation theory posits that life might be a sophisticated simulation, raising questions about purpose and reality. Imagine if we are simply a construct of someone else's construct in order to toy with us. New Age spirituality often blends science, mysticism, and personal growth to explore life's deeper dimensions. I'm getting tongue-tied here. These are teaching me some new words, that's for sure. Ethical and moral frameworks. Some people find meaning in living ethically and contributing to a better world. Advocating for justice, equality, and compassion. Living by a moral code or philosophy. Stoicism, utilitarianism, utilitarianism. Oh my gosh. If you think I don't know how to read, try reading this. These are some words I have read but not been able to say. Helping others and reducing suffering. Existential psychology in therapy. Beyond Frankl, other psychologists have explored how meaning affects mental health. Rollo May emphasized the importance of courage and authenticity. Irvin Yalom explored how confronting death can lead to a deeper appreciation of life. Everyday meaning. Sometimes meaning isn't grand or cosmic. It's found in the small things. A morning coffee ritual, laughing with friends, watching a sunset, and acts of kindness. These moments can be deeply fulfilling and remind us that meaning doesn't always need to be monumental. Technological and futurist views. As technology evolves, new ideas about life's meaning are emerging. Transhumanism suggests that enhancing human capabilities through technology could lead to a new phase of existence, possibly redefining what it means to live. Extending life will give us more time to figure out what life has meaning for. AI and consciousness raise questions about whether artificial beings could have purpose or meaning, and what that says about our own. Space exploration. Some people believe that humanity's purpose is to expand beyond Earth, seeking meaning in cosmic discovery and survival. Ecological and environmental perspectives. With growing awareness of climate and ecological issues, many find meaning in protecting the planet and living sustainably, connecting with nature as a source of wisdom and peace, living life as a vast interconnected web where every action matters. Mythological and archetypal views. Carl Jung and Joseph Campbell explored how myths and archetypes shape our understanding of life. Life is a hero's journey, facing trials, growing through adversity, and returning transformed. Archetypes like sage, warrior, caregiver help us understand our roles and inner drives. Number 15 for the meaning of life. Play, joy, and wonder. Some thinkers argue that life doesn't need a serious or grand purpose. Alan Watts suggested that life is more than music or dance. It is meant to be enjoyed, not solved. Meaning can be found in playfulness, curiosity, and simply being present. Community and belonging. Humans are social beings, and many find meaning through shared experiences and collective goals, cultural traditions and rituals, helping others, and being part of something larger than oneself. Mystery and acceptance. Some embrace the idea that life's meaning may be unknowable, and that's okay. Finding peace in the mystery, living fully without needing all the answers, and accepting impermanence and uncertainty as part of the journey. Philosophical pragmatism. William James and John Dewey suggested that life is meaning that has meaning that is found in what works, what helps us live better, solve problems, and grow. Life's purpose isn't fixed, it evolves through experience and action. Narrative identity. We often understand our lives as stories with characters, turning points, and themes. Meaning can come from how we interpret our past, shape our present, and envision our future. Psychologists like Dan McAdams study how personal narratives influence identity and purpose. Flow and mastery. Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi introduced the concept of flow, a state of deep engagement and fulfillment. Meaning can arise from mastery, challenge, and creative immersion in activities we love. Legacy and impact. Some find meaning in what they leave behind. Children, ideas, art, institutions, whether that's mentorship and influence, contributions to society or future generations. Humor and absurdity. Life can be strange and unpredictable, and even absurd. Some embrace humor as a way to cope, connect, and find joy. Thinkers like Camus and even comedians suggest that laughing at life's absurdity can be a form of wisdom. Silence and stillness. In contemplative traditions like Zen or Christian mysticism, meaning is found not in words or thoughts, but in presence, silence, and being. Letting go of the need to define life can lead to peace and clarity. Rebellion and resistance. For some, meaning comes from challenging injustice, questioning norms, or fighting for change. Life becomes purposeful through activism, courage, and standing up for what matters. Love as meaning. Many people across culture and belief say that the deepest meaning is found in love. Romantic love, familial love, compassion for others, and love for life itself and thyself. Let me get into this for a second. Imagine I'm sitting here having a difficult conversation with someone. And they're intertwined with me, a head resting on my shoulder as I console them. For me, that meant the most. That meant everything in that moment. It was connection. And it meant nothing to her. And that's okay. I gotta find my person. I gotta find my person that does feel safe in my arms and does feel connected to me when I'm wrapped up in theirs. Because for me, a hug isn't just a hug. It's about showing that I care about you. That closeness, that physical affection isn't just physical affection to me. It's saying I'm here for you. I'm listening to you. You matter to me. I crave that physical affection as any man does. Not just for the sexual side or anything like that, but because it grounds me as a man. It grounds me from the hateful, angry, sad, and isolated man that I am. It removes all spite in this world. In that moment, I don't feel anything else except the joy of keeping someone safe in my arms. The protective gene, the possessive gene, really. The wanting, the needing, the longing to put away the animal instincts that we have as men and to be a better person, to be a protector and a provider for the person that is in our arms and our children that we may have. Now, I'm not saying in that moment that that was something I was considering, but just for a moment, I wanted to feel like I could protect this person from themselves, from others, from the hurt that this world caused them, to fix them emotionally, physically, mentally. I just wanted to protect them in that moment. And they say they don't need protection, they're independent. It doesn't matter. No. They just want to have fun. So do I. I just want to have fun too. And I don't want to own you. I don't want to be possessive over you. And I don't want to be 100% protective. I want you to be able to protect yourself as well when I'm not there. But I just wanted for a moment that you let yourself be protected. And I let myself be vulnerable enough where I feel the depth of this emotion. The depth of that protective gene in my body coursing through it. Holding someone in your arms. Their head resting on your shoulder. A true connection binding us to this world, keeping us from doing atrocities. The reality is that a lot of men aren't loved enough in this world. And that starvation from love ultimately stagnates into something vile and disgusting, repulsive even. And if we don't find love before that stagnation festers, we may never find love. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. If you are not good enough as a man, you don't find love. If you don't find love, you can never be complete and a good man. If you are loved too much, then your ego implodes and you become stagnant and vile. And you isolate yourself from love until it finally destroys you. That's the problem. That's what love is. Love is humanity. Love is romantic, familial, compassion for others, love for yourself, love for life, love to help people. That's what love is. You don't have to throw any titles onto it, but if you care about someone, you love them. to some degree or capacity. Maybe you're not going to be kissing them or making out with them, but you do love them. I think my problem is that the eye contact, the lack of communication. If I'm talking to you, I want to make eye contact with you. Because I believe that that is a form of connection and looking into the soul. Avoiding eye contact means you have something to lie to me about, and or you don't want to connect with me. And at that point, why am I speaking to you? Lack of eye contact means that you're lying to me and you don't care about me. And at that point, you are devoid of meaning. If you're devoid of meaning, I'll go find meaning somewhere else. I find more enjoyment talking to my camera, a brick wall, or myself than I do speaking to you, because you will act like you listen and then forget immediately after what I did. Quantum and conscious theories. Some speculative theories suggest that consciousness might be fundamental to the universe. Quantum consciousness theories propose that life and awareness may be deeply connected to the quantum processes. These ideas are controversial, but invite reflection on whether life's meaning could be tied to the very fabric of reality. Ritual and symbolism. Many cultures use rituals to mark transitions: birth, coming of age, marriage, death. These rituals often carry deep symbolic meaning, helping people connect to something larger than themselves, community, ancestry, or even the cosmos. Philosophical idealism, the view that suggests that reality is often fundamental, mental, or spiritual. Life's meaning then is tied to consciousness, ideas, or spiritual evolution, not just physical existence. The search itself as meaning. Some thinkers argue that the act of searching for meaning is itself meaningful. The answer, the journey, the questions, and growth come from seeking may be more important than the final answer. Intergenerational wisdom. Meaning can be found in passing down knowledge, values, and stories. Elders, mentors, and ancestors often play a role in shaping how younger generations understand life. Embracing the unknown. Some philosophies, like Zen or Taoism, suggest that trying to define life too rigidly can be limiting. Instead, they encourage living fully in the moment, embracing mystery, letting go of the need for control. Paradox and duality. Life is full of opposites: joy and sorrow, creation and destruction, love and loss. Some find meaning in holding both truths, accepting paradox as part of the human experience. Evolution of meaning over time. What gives life meaning can change as we age. Youth, exploration, identity, adulthood, responsibility, relationships. Later in life, reflection, legacy, wisdom, all of these. The evolution over time. Collective consciousness. Some spiritual and philosophical traditions suggest we're all part of a shared consciousness. Meaning may come from recognizing our interconnectedness and acting with compassion. Radical acceptance. Inspired by mindfulness and philosophical resilience, this view suggests that meaning comes from accepting life as it is, with all of its beauty and pain. It's not about fixing or escaping, but as being present and open. Meaning through contrast. Life's meaning can emerge through contrast. We understand joy because we felt sorrow. This duality helps us appreciate the richness of experience. Meaning through suffering. Some philosophies and spiritual paths suggest that suffering isn't meaningless. It can be a catalyst for growth, empathy, and transformation. Thinkers like Viktor Frankl and Buddhist teachings emphasize how suffering can deepen our understanding of life. Meaning through service. Helping others, whether through kindness, mentorship, or even activism, often gives people a profound sense of purpose. Service connects us to something larger than ourselves and fosters a sense of belonging. Meaning through curiosity. The drive to learn, explore, and understand can be a source of meaning, whether through science, philosophy, travel, or introspection. Curiosity keeps life vibrant and expansive. Had to take a sec. Meaning through forgiveness and healing. Healing from trauma, forgiving others or ourselves, and finding peace can be deeply meaningful. These acts often mark turning points in personal growth and emotional freedom. Meaning through simplicity. Some find meaning in minimalism, quiet living, or letting go of material pursuits. The idea that stripping away distractions reveals what truly matters. Meaning through connection to the infinite. Mystics and spiritual seekers often describe moments of oneness, transcendence, or union with the divine. These experiences can feel timeless and deeply meaningful, even if hard to describe. Meaning through the creation of beauty. Whether through art, architecture, gardens, or even daily rituals, creating beauty can be a way to honor life. Beauty often evokes awe, gratitude, and a sense of sacredness. Meaning through memory and time. Our memories shape how we perceive life's meaning. Reflecting on the past, cherishing moments, and honoring those who came before us can give depth to our present. Meaning through wonder and awe. Standing before a vast ocean, a starry sky, or even a newborn child. These moments often evoke a sense of mystery and reverence. Awe reminds us that life is bigger than our individual selves. Meaning through silence and emptiness. In Zen Buddhism and other contemplative traditions, emptiness isn't seen as a void, but as a space full of potential. Silence, stillness, and no mind can be gateways to profound insight and peace. Meaning through death and morality. Awareness of death often sharpens our sense of life's value. Many traditions teach that contemplating mortality helps us live more fully, to appreciate the present and prioritize what truly matters. Meaning through dreams and the subconscious. Dreams can reveal hidden desires, fears, and truths. Jungian psychology sees dreams as messages from the unconscious, guiding us towards wholeness and self-understanding. Meaning through chaos and uncertainty. Life is unpredictable, and some find meaning in embracing the chaos. This view celebrates spontaneity, adaptability, and the beauty of not knowing what comes next. Meaning through the body. Some philosophies emphasize embodied experience, feeling, movement, sensation as central to meaning. Practices like yoga, dance, and martial arts connect us to life through physical presence. These right here are the first 50 possible questions and answers to the meaning of life. Next, we'll have to go over the next 50 to get to 105 reasons why we're still here. I'm sorry about my reading skills. I don't know how to talk. I get tongue-tied. Now the question is, what will you do with that information? What will you do with your life? How will you find meaning? How will you approach it? For me, I know my meaning. Number 1, pursue happiness. Do what makes me happy. Second, do not destroy my own morality in order to achieve happiness and joy. 3, to seek fulfillment in providing joy to others. 4, legacy. After I die, what is remaining? A family, loved ones, friends, connections, relationships, kids, these videos, a journal, a book, art, photography. What have I created that will stand the test of time and live on after I die? What legacy do I leave behind? 5, family. Underneath all of that, every single one of those contributes to it, but if it's not already clear, is that a family with someone that loves me as much as I love them, with kids that love me as much as I love them, family and friends that love me as much as I love them, connection, love. That's why we're all here. We don't feel like we're loved enough, but we certainly know in our hearts that that's why we're here. Now you can say that love isn't real, it's a mix of hormones and chemicals in our brains, but it feels pretty dang real to me. So if you don't mind me, I'm going to pursue that as my reason for living. I just hope I don't get my heart broken too many more times, because I don't know how much else I can take. But I'm going to go find my love. I don't know where. I don't know how. I don't know who. I don't know to what capacity. Romantic, friendship, family. It doesn't matter. But I am going to start trying to love people more. So that maybe, in turn, someday, karma will come around and I will feel loved as much as I love others. Maybe self-love comes first, I don't know. Or maybe I need to love others to a point where I feel I love myself. Do I take care of my body to the point where I love myself? Do I succeed enough in life and have a legacy enough where I love myself? That is the question. Let's see if we figure out the answers. But anyways, that's everything for today. We'll have to continue this another time. But love your life. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.